Today, I'm going to be talking about something called Project 525. It is a learning program that was created by the NIL Learning team in South Africa. And I will first introduce myself. I am Elizabeth Di Rocco. I joined NIL a little less than a year ago, and I'm based out of Slovenia. I am the program manager for the learning services at NIL. So I'm managing all the programs that are new, either technology or new products like what we're talking about today, Project 525. I have a long history of working in IT. I've been in the IT industry for about 20 years. Most of my life has been as a technical resource. I was a systems engineer most of my life for Cisco, for VMware, for Dell Technologies, and now I am working for NIL based out of Slovenia. So there you go. That's a history, a bit about me. So the 525 program, as it says on the subtitle there, is a one-year program. So it's a one-year structured learning program to achieve your CCIE certification. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. But before I do that, I want to tell you who we are, who is NIL Learning. NIL is one of the companies that is part of the Concha Group, and the NIL Learning team is part of NIL in Slovenia. You can see us there on the map is the smallest dot of all the countries that you have in your screen. And we are all sitting here. The NIL Learning team is based out of Slovenia, but we deliver learning services, so trainings, mainly Cisco trainings, throughout all of EMEA. So Africa, Europe, Middle East, all of these territories are areas where we work, and we've been delivering learning services for many, many years. Concha, as you may or may not know, it's a conglomerate of companies across Europe. So you can see all the countries in there. We are now present in 10 countries, and we are counting more than 1,300 employees. Of this, about 270 employees are based out of the tiny dot there, that is Slovenia. Part of that team is the NIL Learning team. So hopefully that gives you an idea of where we fit in the organization. Specifically regarding NIL and NIL Learning, we have a long history working with Cisco primarily. We are both the systems integrators in Slovenia, but we are also a learning partner. And we work pretty much independently from the systems integrator side as a learning services provider, training partners and customers alike for many, many years. We became a Cisco Learning partner in 1993, so we are more than 31 years now a learning partner. Not only that, we are a platinum learning partner, which gives us the capabilities of also creating content, not only delivering official Cisco trainings, but we are also able to create customized training for Cisco customers, because we have that highest ranking as learning partners, which allows us to also customize trainings for our customers. Now, a couple of milestones I'm not going to talk about through this entire history. However, let's look at the recent past, 2023. We launched this project 525, which is what we're talking about today. So this was, as I mentioned before, created by the team in South Africa. They realized that they had a need in the continent for more CCIEs. And in that year, they created and launched this program. And also we received an award for the creation of this program by Cisco. We were the Cisco Customer Success Learning Partner of the Year in 2023. Now, last year, in October, we had the first group of 525 candidates that had completed the 525 program. We had that group graduate in October. There was a big graduation ceremony, and we were very, very proud to see the success of this first team of people that went through the entire program. 28 people have already completed the 525 program and achieved their CCIE. At that graduation ceremony, we had 22 of these CCIEs receive their certificate directly from the learning and certification team from Cisco. So the leadership came over to South Africa because it was the single biggest amount of CCIEs awarded at any single time. So 22 people attended that graduation ceremony, and they received their certificates at that point. So very, very big achievement in 2024 to have that first batch of CCIEs. What is the relevance of the CCIE certification? If you've been working with Cisco as a customer, as a partner, as an employee even, you know that Cisco has taken education very, very seriously since the very beginning of the creation of the company. They created their certifications program, trainings, regular trainings on all the products, the existing products, the new products that they launch, and anything in between, all the time. They are very, very focused on making sure that people know how to use what they create. And the pinnacle of all those certifications has been the CCIE certification, the expert level certification. The expert level certification of Cisco, the CCIE, has always been very difficult to achieve. There is a reason why. It is by design. It's difficult to achieve because Cisco makes it difficult. The reason why it's been made difficult is not because they're mean, it's because they actually want people to know their stuff and to be able to work under pressure. It is a timed exam as close as possible to a real environment where you need to configure and even troubleshoot networking challenges that you may find in your day-to-day job. So when you actually have a CCIE certificate, right, that was difficult to achieve, you are actually, you can't prove how good you are at what you do. It is actually a real certificate that proves the level of your knowledge. So it is, as I said, it's difficult to achieve. And some of those challenges is with that design of the exam. But sometimes what people find a little bit more difficult has been to how to get ready. How do I achieve this certificate without having to work in networking for 20 years, right? How can I learn this in a quicker way? How can I be ready for my job today, not after having to deal on these technologies on my own for many, many years? Is there a way of learning what I need to know to become a CCIE with a little experience, obviously, because you need to have it, but how can I achieve it a little bit faster? Now, this question has been around for a long time. If any of you were at Cisco Live or you've listened to the plenary session, you may have heard in the plenary session talk about the CCIE being a renewed need in the market for people to achieve the certificate. We find ourselves now at a time in which people that have had this certification for many, many years may not be renewing it anymore, or they may be retiring even, right? So there is an actual void being created for these and experts that have been around for many, many years. Either they've changed roles or they are retiring, as I said before, and they may not be there anymore for the organizations that they have supported for years. So there's a pressing need in the marketplace to create new networking experts and achieve that CCIE for the larger number of people that we are at the moment. As I mentioned before, it is difficult to achieve a CCIE certification, and it has to be a decision that you make very, very focused, that you say, yes, I want to go and get a CCIE. And this is not only a career move, it's actually a life decision. You will become an expert. This will open doors at work, but it will also mean that you will be regarded in your organization as that expert. You will become part of the CCIE community, and it is going to change your life in a few different ways, even while you are training to become a CCIE. The sacrifice of time that you need to put into studying to become a CCIE is quite significant. You need to be very aware that time that you invest for studying, you may be taken away from family and friends while you are preparing for your CCIE exam. And it may take around 2 to 3 hours a day of studying, sometimes more over the weekend if you're preparing on your own. If you take less time than this, it may take you 2-3 years to prepare to sit the exam. So it is actually quite a time commitment. Challenges that you may have preparing for the exam include things like pressure, nerves, time constraints that you may have for investing in studying. You may have a little bit of a problem finding out which resources to go through, when do you allocate time, what things you do first and what things you do later. So it's usually when you study on your own, you have a problem with both time management and a structure of how you take things. And then when you are preparing for the actual exams towards the end, sometimes it is difficult to know whether you're ready to verify whether you are now at a point that you say, okay, can I take the exam? And in some cases, there are other factors that may be a problem. Many times it's proven, overconfidence has proven to be the enemy. You know your stuff, but you may actually not be as detailed as you may want, or it can play against you to be a little bit overconfident or even not have enough confidence as well. You may know more than you think. So these are factors that can play against you. To pass your CCIE, you require passion, patience, and perseverance while you're studying. Gonna take a second to check whether we have any questions. Nothing so far here. Let's check Q&A. Okay, so I have a couple of questions here. So the first one I will address regarding CCIE wireless. I will talk about it in further down the session. So put a pin on that one. And the prerequisites as well, I will cover during the during this session. So thank you for the questions. I keep in mind that I mentioned both of them. Okay, so bear all of this in mind. Bear in mind the necessity for CCIE certifications and the fact that it's difficult to achieve them. So how do we bridge that gap, right? And this is where Project 525 came in. I mentioned before that it was created by the team in South Africa. There's a reason for that. And the reason was that a couple of years ago, actually 3 years ago, somebody took a look at the map of the world and the amount of CCIEs that were spread around. Obviously, the US has a large number of CCIEs. These are all estimates, by the way. The UK has a decent amount of CCIEs, Australia as well, you can see there. And then when they took a look at Africa, they had a total of only 300 on the entire continent. So this became a very big problem for the country's growth, for the development, for the deployment of more complex solutions, not having enough experts in the continent. One part of the problem was as well, not only that they weren't certifying enough people, but that the people that were certified, sometimes they left the continent. They got job offers in either in Europe or the US, and they will leave the continent and you wouldn't have that resource in the house. So there was a need of creating CCIEs, but not only creating them, but at an accelerated rate. So how can we do this? How can we train the right level of experts, and how can we do this fast? So the Project 525 was funded, and this is where the name comes from, because there was an aspirational goal of achieving 500 CCIEs in Africa by 2025. So that was a big part of where the Project 525 comes from, and that's where the name comes from. So far, we've had 2-3 cohorts, I think it is, that have finished. And of those teams that have completed the program, 78% of these people have actually passed their CCIE. They have achieved their CCIE on the first or second try, which is part of the program. The people that haven't passed it doesn't mean that they're not going to pass it. They may pass it later. They may have to retry a third or fourth time before they pass it. But for those, we don't count them as a direct result of the program at that point, because we count the people that have finished the program and take the exam with us. That is actually an amazing success. It's much higher than for people that prepare on their own, or that they only may take bootcamp trainings that are a condensed form of this, but not with the rest of the program that we have put around this. Of everybody that have joined the program, a few people have to drop out. So we've had an 82% finish rate, completion rate of the program. People may drop out because of life events. They may drop out because they cannot cope with the intensity of the program. They may move away. They may change their careers. Different reasons why somebody may not complete the programs. But having an 82% completion rate is actually really good, because the program is quite intense. So we are quite happy with that number as well. In total, we've had about almost 200 people now. This number 101 is slightly lower than it should be at the moment, because we've had a couple of cohorts launch recently. So about 50 people, I would say, that have gone through the program so far, plus 150 that are currently enrolled. That's kind of an estimate of where we are at the moment. One thing that we have kept in mind when we have created the Project 525 program has been the current structure of the CCIE certification. If you've already passed your CCIE in the past, You may have a completely different structure of the certification. At the moment, it looks like this, and we have, as I said, taken this into consideration. The module 1 will be the first part of your CCIE exam, and it has the problem of not having the ability of navigating backwards. So whatever you have done at the beginning, if you made a mistake, that stays like it is. So we make sure that you are reading through everything and making sure that you are confident on when you're answering. We try to prepare you for the knowledge that you have to have, plus that pace, that confidence that you have to have, that has to be at the right level. To take into consideration this part of the module. We then prepare you as well for the modules 2, which is hands-on fully. And in that, in the entire exam, we also take into consideration the different elements and how you're graded in the exam. You have, in the past, you may have had network infrastructure as a much heavier part of your certificate. Whether now there are elements like software-defined infrastructure in that account for a quarter of your grade. This is something that the first batches of CCIEs didn't experience. We have taken this into account in Project 525, that automation is a big, big part of the exam that you will be passing. We have discovered that people that come from a very traditional background may not be prepared for this type of things, and we have put extra effort to teach you on that. This is the structure of the exam for enterprise infrastructure. Obviously, you have it in front of you. But we've done the same analysis for every other track that we have in the program. And I will tell you what CCIEs we're covering in a future slide. Okay. How does this work? How does the project? I told you it's a structure, it's a type timeline, very scheduled, with a mentor. A few different things have been mentioned for the program. I'm going to run you through the entire program now. And for every one of the tracks, it will be the same structure. So whether you're doing CCIE, enterprise infrastructure, data center security, whichever track you are in, the structure of this timeline will be exactly the same. Somebody asked about prerequisites. I'll tell you about the prerequisites before I start with the timeline. The prerequisite to join the program is just to have passed your core exam. It's the same prerequisite as to go and sit your CCIE lab. You need to have your written test done, which is the core exam, NCORE for enterprise infrastructure, core security, or SCORE for security, and so on and so forth. Your core exam needs to have been completed already. We will also send you a pre-assessment. The pre-assessment you will receive as a link, and you will be able to complete it at your own location, right? You don't have to go anywhere to do this. And it will, first of all, tell us whether you're ready to take on this journey. And second of all, it will give us an idea of what are your areas of strength or weaknesses. So you may have some parts where you're really, really good, and maybe another that you're not that much. So the program will take this first pre-assessment as the knowledge baseline for the candidate. If you are good to go with these two things, then you can enroll. And the program is divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 takes 9 months. That first 9 months are, there are 4 components in those first 9 months. First of all, you will have Cisco U. Those first 9 months are pretty much self-paced learning, in which we will be working with you through that self-study. So you will have a series of trainings assigned to you over these 9 months under Cisco U. So if you're not familiar with Cisco U is an online tool from Cisco where they put trainings that have been created specifically for self-paced learning. And there's a series of different trainings that match the track that you are on. So there will be different trainings for enterprise, security, data center, and so on and so forth. Second element of this 9 months, and actually this is an element that is with you throughout, is the mentor. You will be assigned a mentor right when you join the program. The mentor will be assigned to the entire cohort. A cohort for us is a team of people that are studying together. It's a group of between 10 and 20 people that will start the journey together and finish it together at the same time. A mentor will be assigned to that entire cohort, and he will be there all the time, making sure that, first of all, that you're keeping pace with the amount of studying, answering questions that you may have, guiding you into resources if you're struggling with something, and also warning us if the group, as a group, is struggling with a particular area. For example, we've seen in cases that automation, as I mentioned at the beginning, can be a problem. So for automation, the mentor can flag this team requires additional hours, and we may add a little bit of hours with an instructor to teach you a little bit about automation to help you get through that part a little bit easier. So the mentor is there checking on the individuals and checking on the groups as a whole, making sure that everybody is progressing as a normal pace. You can see in the diagram the number of mentor hours. Those are the red circles. It's 8 hours per month that you will get assigned to the group from the mentor. That basically means 2 hours per week. And this also means that you will have a regular call every week with the mentor. So any questions, anything that you're struggling with, you can bring it to that call. Or you will also have other means of communications as well, a group chat that will be available for all candidates. And you can learn from each other. So if you post a question in the group chat, people can answer each other, or the mentor can help you. So this is an entire group that studies together. And this is not something to take lightly, because if you're studying on your own, all the questions need to be answered by you. And you may not find the right resource, you may find the wrong answer, which is also a big problem. If you are studying in a group, you can learn from your peers, you can learn from your mentor as well. It does enhance the learning experience a lot. The third element that you get, again, throughout the entire program are reports. We will be creating reports of your progress at every step of the way. So whenever you are doing self-studying, we can check on Cisco U what your progress is, how much you went through, where there's an area that you haven't completed, whether you actually didn't do any studying a particular week, in which we will contact you and ask you, is there an issue? If you get behind 2 weeks, it's going to be very difficult to catch up. So in those cases, we will check on the candidate. There may be life events that are stopping them from studying. There may be a difficult project of work that is making them miss out a little bit on the learning. So we've had cases of people losing a family member. We've had cases of a lady that actually completed her CCIE in time. She actually gave birth while she was in the program, and she managed to pass her CCIE as part of the program, even though she became a mother while she was studying. So things may happen that may delay you, and we are here to work that through with you. Alongside the mentor, there will be a team coordinator. The team coordinator is the one that will be distributing the reports and maybe helping you if there is anything that is impeding you from keeping pace with us. The last element that you get as part of phase 1 is access to labs. This is mainly CML, and in CML you get the full license, but also you will get some preset labs that you can deploy. As if you're familiar with CML, you know that you can deploy pretty much anything you want in there. You can create any architecture your computer or your environment allows you to create, but for you not to reinvent the wheel, we will actually give you some setups already to deploy, so you can then go and practice directly what you need to practice. So 4 elements that are part of phase 1, Cisco U, mentor, reports, and labs. Once you have gone through all these 9 months, you should have accumulated a large amount of information in your brain and have quite a lot of knowledge. And we get to phase 2, you will be doing recap of some of the topics that you have already covered during the year, plus you will attend a bootcamp. This bootcamp, we have actually licensed the use of NARBIC bootcamp. If you've heard about it, if anybody that has prepared for CCIEs, I think the most famous CCIE bootcamp in the world, NARBIC bootcamp, the company is Micronics. We've licensed that bootcamp, and we use that bootcamp as part of the program. This is basically 2 weeks, 9 days of full learning. So you will be engaged in this bootcamp for 8 hours or more every day. So I do recommend that those 10 days, your employer is very much aware that you're going to be fully focused on this bootcamp to get ready for your exam. So that part is I think the most intense, I would say, of the entire program. And you need to be kind of online all the time. Whether the phase 1, you can do it alongside your job. You're not expected to not be working here. You're expected to do a few hours every day, but be able to be doing your work most of the time. In some cases, we've seen employers providing extra holiday days for their employees. So when they may get a little bit behind on their studying, they might take a day off to be able to catch up on that. So, but that's up to your employer to assign those extra days. okay, once you have completed your bootcamp, you get to phase 3. There are two things that you do in phase 3. One is we've introduced and we've created this together with Cisco. By the way, something that I have failed to mention before, this entire program has been developed by NIL Learning together with Cisco Learning and Certification. I'm not sure how I omitted this, but this has been a very, very important factor of the success of this program. The fact that we didn't create this on our own, but Cisco actually was every step of the way with us. The team that actually creates the certifications has actually contributed to the content that needed to be part of it, the elements that we needed to include, and also to the simulated CCIE lab, which is phase 3 of this program. We work together with them to create something that is close to the CCIE lab without being the same, right? Obviously, you would be tested on something else. But we created an environment that is actually pretty close, and we actually have created like a mock test of the CCIE lab. So you have 8 hours to complete a series of tasks in an environment that has a similar architecture to the CCIE lab exam, and that is actually going to actually grade you and tell you how well you did. So we have this simulated CCIE lab as part of the program, which is a really good way of verifying. I mentioned at the beginning, verification, are you ready or not? This is a good way of verifying whether you can now take the step to a CCIE lab. The last step is obviously scheduling your CCIE lab exam. And if you pass, fantastic. We give you a voucher for that first attempt. So we give you a voucher to go and try the CCIE lab. It's included in the cost of the program. And if you pass, you're done. Fantastic. We're all happy. If you don't pass, the second attempt is also included in the program, but it's included as an insurance policy. So in this case, for the second attempt, you will pay it or your employer will pay it. And if you don't pass, that's it. But if you do pass it, we will refund you the second attempt. So the cost of 2 attempts are actually covered in the program, but only if you pass in the first or the second one, right? So if you pass on the first, fantastic. If you pass on the second, we'll return the money. If you don't, well, you're out of the money of the second attempt. The reason why we've done it this way is because we want people to actually prepare thoroughly for the first attempt. If we were to give you 2 free attempts from the beginning, you may not take that first attempt as seriously as you should. That's why we have done this little trick on the insurance policy, just to make sure that people are not wasting their own time, mainly because if you're taking the exam twice, it's twice you need to prepare, twice you need to go through the nerves. And if you are not getting an exam near you, you may also have cost of traveling and things like that. So that's why we have created this insurance policy instead of simply giving you 2 vouchers. Okay, I have walked through the entire timeline. I'm going to check chat and Q&A now and possibly answer a couple of questions in here. Okay, let me see. Oh, there's quite a lot. The path I'm going to mention in the next slide. Give me a second about it. I'll talk about it. CCIE DC. So the demand of CCIE DC on the market is, I think, it's going to increase because we have to know if you work for a partner or a customer, this answer may be relevant or not for you. But if you work for a partner, you're probably aware that Cisco is changing their partner level program. It's going into something called Partner 360. And for Partner 360, every partner will be assigned this value index on different technologies, including DC. And for DC, the CCIE DC will actually count towards that partner value index for the partner, which means there will be a demand from partners at least to increase the number of CCIE DCs, to increase their value index from the partners. That would probably pull the entire industry to have more CCIE DC. So if you're a customer, you may not have this need to certify in Cisco 360 program, but you will see an increase probably in the next year or two for the number of CCIEs in the market. So next question. I appreciate the structured approach. How monitors assist us for 34 hours a day in the CCIE journey? Within 20 minutes. So the reports are being done. It's not done every 20 minutes, no, not even close, but once a week. Once a week, we'll check your progress. We'll create a report, and that report is shared with the mentor. So that's how often we will check on you. However, if you're struggling, you don't have to wait. You can contact your mentor and tell them directly that you have an issue with a certain part there's anything else you can read or learn, or anybody I can answer a specific question. I only have CCNA. Should I get CCNP and then try CCIE? It's up to you. It depends on the experience you have. If you have only CCNA and you've only been working for a year, I would advise against trying to go to a CCIE. It's a little bit too high, too steep. People that have been working for 2-3 years, they will get a better chance of passing their CCIE because they actually have a bit more experience. More years obviously means higher chances of success. It's also very individual. Some people are just a natural at networking and they will catch up on things really, really quickly. You don't have to have your CCNP certification. If you have enough experience, you don't have to have a CCNP certification. There's no prerequisite for CCIE. You can just pass the core exam and then go for the CCIE lab. But I do recommend that you don't, if you're a straight out of university, I will say this is not something for you. You have to have a little bit of experience, a little bit of knowing your way around a network and networking architecture. And well, if it is DC, data center, networking, data center, servers and all that kind of part. So it depends on which area you are. You need to have a bit of experience, a few years under your belt. Very individual, it can be 2 years enough for you to be ready. Some people may need 5 years to be ready. Depends also on your job role, whether you're deep in the trenches or not. But definitely not for somebody who's just fresh out of university with a CCNA in hand. This is not the program for you. So hopefully that gives you an idea. If you're in doubt, contact us. We'll send you a pre-assessment. That's for sure. We can send you a pre-assessment and that will give you and us an idea of where you are with your knowledge. So if you're in doubt, if you're kind of in between, just contact us. We'll send you a pre-assessment. That's a good way of checking. Is the bootcamp also remote or in person? It is pretty much remote. Most of the time it's remote. We haven't had a situation where we had enough people in a location to do it on location. If we do get to that situation that we have 10, 15 candidates from a single city, we could potentially run the bootcamp in location, but that hasn't happened yet. Written exam for CCIE is also included, or that should be passed separate. You need to pass it in advance. We do give you 2 vouchers. So you have to have your core exam to be able to enroll in the program. But we do give you 2 vouchers for concentration exams for CCNP if you choose to pass them. If by any chance your core exam is expiring during this year, because you're going to be, let's say that your core exam expires on month 6 of this journey, right? By the time you get to a CCIE lab, you won't have a core exam valid. So that means you need to recertify that core exam here. We can actually transform one of those concentration vouchers into a core exam voucher for you to renew your core during the program, but you are supposed to have that you're ready already. So it's not part of the program, it's a prerequisite. CML only be enough for preparation of candidates. You also get access to CCIE labs, the practice labs as well. That's also part of the program. So those are the main tools we have in terms of labs are CML, access to CCIE practice labs, and also the simulated lab at the end. Those are the 3 tools that we give you as part of this. Some people then decide they want to use something else. They may have some equipment either in their office or at home, and they can create their own labs. That's up to you. Which city in the EU are capable of doing CCIE labs? So at the moment, there's a couple of locations you can go to. Brussels, I think, is one. I think there's another one in Dubai. If we were to have enough candidates in a location, we could bring a CCIE mobile lab into a location. Again, this is around 10 people that we will have to have in a country. So let's say that in the UK, we have 10 CCIE candidates part of the program that want to sit the exam together. We put in a request to Cisco Certification because, as I said, we work with them. And we ask for the remote lab to be available for those candidates in the UK. The proctor will be the only one that will be flying into the location. What are the options? Someone who did not take core exam, pretty much you need to take the core exam. Sorry, that's the only way we can enroll you. Okay, so I'll cover a few of the questions. I'm gonna continue with the presentation. If I have more time for Q&A, I will cover more answers at the end. Okay, let's talk about tracks. I had 2 or 3 questions about the tracks that are covered. We have, as part of the 525 program, we already have enterprise infrastructure. We have security as well. We have data center. Yeah, I'm giving myself a thumbs up. Data center. We also have service provider, and we have more in the making. So these are the 4 that are ready with the structure that I showed you before. These 4 are already launched and ready to go with all the elements that I mentioned before. We have more coming in the future. At the moment, we have submitted for DevNet Expert. That's the next one that we have submitted to Cisco, the program for approval. So that's on the making. And we also will have collaboration, CCDE, and CCIE wireless. So all those 3 will be coming. My prediction or our feeling is that in about a year's time, we will have all expert level certifications as part of this program. So for the person that asked about CCIE wireless, don't get discouraged. It depends on your timeline. If you want to get started studying now, you may have to start on your own. But in about a year's time, we should have CCIE wireless as part of the program as well. I think that will be, together with collaboration, those will be the last 2 that we will create. We are working with Cisco here as well to gauge the demand of CCIE certifications on the market, and we are targeting the ones that are the most looked after by employers, right? So companies are looking for DevNet a lot. That's why we have tackled DevNet more than before the other certifications. All of this was launched in Europe. The program, as I said, was created in Africa, but it was launched in Europe. All of this was launched in Europe at Cisco Live Amsterdam 2025. So very recently, we bring in this to Europe. I have 4 slides here that I will go through very quickly. These are the specific tasks that you will get as part of each of the tracks for the CCIE program, right? This in front of you is the Enterprise Infrastructure Program. You can see there the trainings that are covered in Cisco U, BGP, MPLS, things like that are part of the program. There are 3 in here which are actually concentration exams for CCNP. So if you don't have your CCNP, you only have your core exam, you can actually take your concentration exam and become CCNP certified while you are in the program, because you will be doing the training for the concentration exam. Or if you already have your CCNP, you can get that extra specialization and recertify. Helped you with the recertification for CCNP. It gives you some points toward recertifying, doing an additional specialization. We also have security. Very similarly, I mark here what are the concentration courses. Data center, again, I've marked what are the concentration courses in here. And service provider. By the way, you will all get these slides. They will be shared with you. So if you need to peruse these different programs at your own leisure, check what every one of these trainings covers, you will be able to do so because you will have all these acronyms, right? All these trainings are part of Cisco U. One note here is that apart from the fact that I mentioned that you get 2 vouchers for concentration exams, is the number of hours that you're expected to study during the year. We've seen that people study around 1,000 hours in the year. That works out as around 3 hours per day. I mentioned that before, that people study 2-3 hours per day at least, plus a certain amount during the weekends as well, 4 to 8 hours as well during the weekend. So it's about 1,000 hours of your time that you need to put into this program. Depending on how you arrange things with your employer, this could be part of your daily job that you spend a few hours of your work studying, or it may be time that you need to put from your personal time into studying. That's, as I said, it's a life decision how you tackle this, taking the CCIE certification. Some people will have to study double that amount, so 2,000 hours. Some people will have to study a little bit less than that. It depends on the individual, how much time they have to put in, but on average, the amount of time we are asking of you to invest is about 1,000 hours in a year. I mentioned reporting. I mentioned that you get reports on how your progress is going at every step of the way. This is the individual reporting. This is what you will see for yourself. The individual reporting is also shared. You need to allow us to do that, but if you do allow us, then the individual reporting is also shared with your sponsor or manager, whoever is that is paying for you to take the exam. So if your company is paying for you to go into this program, then the person that is actually your sponsor here will be the one that will be receiving this individual reporting. So they will see as well how you're doing. This is good for you actually, because if people see that you're progressing, they're actually quite happy with the investment they're making in you. And if they see that you're struggling, they may be able to do something to help you. As I said, some companies then grant additional vacation days for the individual to be able to keep up with the program. So it's not a bad idea that they have a bit of visibility here. But again, this is something you will have to approve. Then the mentor will receive a group reporting to see how the entire team is actually doing, how many people have completed what they need to complete, how many hours has been invested, and so on and so forth, where they are on the track. I pretty much cover all the main points, so I'm going to recap the key points of the program. You have the option of having an in-country delivered lab exam in the case of where there are larger groups. The same goes for the bootcamp. In larger groups, we have that option of delivering the bootcamp in location or actually bringing even the labs to the group. There's a mentor that is going to be with you throughout the program. There's also a coordinator that is more focused on everything that is administration and also dealing with the personal issues that you may have going through the program. That do not underestimate that. There's a person, we have a couple of people trained that are very good at helping you through doubts that you may have, personal problems you may have, struggles that you may have with your employer, that they are not supporting you enough. These are all things that the coordinator of the team will help you through with the studying. We cover a lot of content in here. The content that we have put together has been, as I said, designed with Cisco, and we are covering a lot more than what usually people cover in a pure self-study approach. In fact, we've had people that have been in the program halfway through the program, and people that are already certified in their organizations, that are already CCIEs, have come to them to ask them about a particular topic that they only know a little bit vaguely, but this guy that has been in this program is actually really, really knowledgeable on, because the program actually covers these technologies really well, right? So because of that, we've had a great success on the amount of knowledge that people gain, regardless of the fact where they pass their CCIE exam or not. The going through the program, they will gain an enormous amount of knowledge through the program, which is usually more than what you gain studying on your own. We have included the CCIE bootcamp. We have simulations in there to help you check whether you are ready to take the exams, and practice labs for you to train as well. We give you the 2 exam vouchers for taking your electives, your concentration exams if you want. You also get the voucher for the CCIE lab exam plus the insurance policy that I mentioned before. So if you don't pass on the second try, on the first try, you need to pay, but we can give you that money back. And all the trainings that you do in Cisco, you also give you continuing education credits. You know, the CE credits can be used, or actually are a way of recertifying other certifications you may have. So if you are already a CCNP, the sheer fact that you are passing this, doing these trainings on Cisco, you will already give you credits towards that recertification. So that's all good points from Project 525. I'm going to check a few more questions now. Okay, so somebody has mentioned that they have just taken their CCNA after working for 5 years. You will have to pass NCORE. Yes, that is true. You will have to pass NCORE. If you have been working in the industry for 5 years, then you probably have gained, depending on your job role, you probably have gained quite a lot of knowledge. If you only have a CCNA, that's not an issue, because all you need to do is pass your core exam, and we'll send you a pre-assessment. And if you're good to go, then we'll take you into the program. So it's not an issue if you don't have anything more than a CCNA. Person is, of course, person based on your experience. Was it for somebody learning on its own? No, this is based on our experience. So the testimonials from the people that, so the number of hours that I mentioned that people are studying, these are taken from the people that have passed their CCIE labs. We've actually asked them, how much time are you putting into, as they were going through? Did you have to study during the weekend? So these are part of the testimonials that we got from the graduates from 525. Yes, there's a question of whether, if you're in the CCIE security track, would the mentor be in CCIE security? Yes, of course. We wouldn't give you a CCIE mentor on a topic that you are not the topic that you're working on. So if you're in the data center track, you're going to have a CCIE data center as your mentor. We have had some cases in which we have combined teams. We have combined enterprise infrastructure with security, and we put a single mentor, which was double certified. So we've had a mentor that has been enterprise infrastructure and security CCIE, and then we were able to create a cohort that had people doing 2 tracks at once. But the fact is the CCIE was CCIE for both. That's the only situation in which we may combine people. Can I join the 525 program at any time, or does it start at specific dates? We start at specific dates. I have a slide on that. I will answer in a minute which are the days when we are starting. We will be starting regularly at different times of year. I'll tell you about it in a second. Yeah, and core you will have to take on your own. This is to prepare you for your CCIE lab, which is the hard part. The hard part of the CCIE is the CCIE lab. I have 10 years experience. Cisco devices have the program core exam vouchers. Thank you for your explanation. Okay. Yeah, so I've covered about core exams and how that works, and the vouchers you get are for concentrations. But if you need to recertify, we can transfer one of them. Is there a similar program for CCNP? The answer to that is yes. There is a similar program for CCNP. I haven't brought it to Europe yet. It's up to me. I'm the program manager because we are launching this in stages. So we are starting with CCIE. If you do have a need for CCNP, if you want to go into something similar for CCNP, please drop me a note. I'll share my email in a second. Please drop me a note and let me know, because I gather those requests, and as soon as I see that there's an interest, I will bring it. My plan is to bring CCNP 525 by the end of 2025. If we have enough candidates sooner, then we can do it even sooner. So the program has already been created. Again, same story together with Cisco, the CCNP 525, but we haven't yet brought it to Europe. But if you do want to, please let me know. Please let me know. Okay, those are the questions in the chat. I'm going to check the Q&A now. I've answered about CCIE wireless is going to be coming. Yes, thank you. That's been answered. Prerequisites, I covered that as well. Will you be going through what it costs? Yes, I will cover cost in a second. The price of Cisco U trainings are excluding from the 525 program. All the courses that are mentioned in the tracks are included in the cost. So the cost covers absolutely everything that I have talked about as well, about the program as well. Yeah, I see that this has been answered. The Q&As have been answered on chat. Okay. It seems to be that pretty much everything has been. There's an answer here. Where's the cost and what are the options of joining this program? I'll cover that in a second. So cost I have in the next slide. EI security, DC service provider, enterprise infrastructure. What tracks are on demand? Enterprise infrastructure is always on demand. We always see that. So that's the one we run the most often. Cisco is asking for DevNet, as I mentioned before, that they see an increase in the amount of DevNet engineers for big projects. And that is where we see the most demand. Most CCIEs will have a higher demand once Partner 360 starts kicking in for all the partner value index. We expect the growth there. I'm from India. Can I enroll in NIL Learning program? Please contact us. We do have presence in Europe ourselves. The team that I am in front of you, I have a presence in Europe, but we do have partners that are working to deploy this program in India. So this will come worldwide, actually. The expansion of 525, we have the support of Cisco to expand this program worldwide, and we will expand 525 to North America, to Asia, to South America as well. It's already on plan. We will do this with local partners, because we also have local time zones and cultural and language demands that is better if we do it with local partners as well. So the program will be coming to other countries as well. So please let us know, because if you want to start sooner, we may be able to help you right away. But if you want to wait a little bit, then maybe you do it with this partner that will be enrolling very soon on the program. We have another one that is interested in CCNP as well. Very good. Please drop me a note. You'll see my email in a slide here. By equity valid and expires 20. Do I need to still do the NORS core exam? You know what, Ian Whitmore, you're asking me a question of having an older version of core certification. I am not entirely sure about that one. I'm going to have to put a pin on that one and come back to you later. So I'm not sure what happens when you have an older version of core exam done. It could be that we can take you into the program and do the recertification, let's call it, with one of the vouchers. But let me take that one offline and make sure that is possible before I give you a fair answer. Okay. Okay, yes. Another interest in CCNP, please, all of you that are interested in CCNPs, let us know about it. Okay, so these are the key points. I think I've gone through all the questions now. Let me advance to the next 2 slides that I have, and then I'm done. Okay, so pricing and dates. This is something in everybody's mind. So for pricing, the pricing of the program is the one you see in the middle. $16,000 is the price of the program. If you were at Cisco Live and you talked to us during the Cisco Live launch, we actually kind of dip into a little bit just to get a promotional price, dip into our actual into this program, make the price more attractive for you guys, just to encourage people to enroll. And we were very happy about this, but we did offer a promotional price for Cisco Live attendees. So if you visited us during Cisco Live, or attended one of those sessions that we delivered during Cisco Live, you will have this promotional price. Everybody, but nobody else, because we have a list of those people. So I mentioned this pricing here because I know that some of you may have been with us during Cisco Live. I wanted to make sure that those people know that that's the price that they will be receiving as we discussed during Cisco Live. Anybody else that was not at Cisco Live, the regular price is $16,000. Or in both cases, the price in Cisco Learning credits is 145 Cisco Learning credits. So that's fixed. The 145 Cisco Learning credits, there's nothing we can do about that. That price is set together with Cisco, and that's what the program costs. The cash price, that's why we were able to give a different price during Cisco Live. It's a little bit more maneuverable from our side. So talk to us if you're struggling in any way to pay for this, in particularly if you're an individual that is paying for this out of your own pocket. I don't want anybody that wants to go for this certification to be discouraged that they cannot afford this. Please talk to us, and if we can, we will help you, particularly if you're paying out of your own pocket. For organizations that are paying, the price is $16,000, and that's pretty much it. Now, to give you an idea of how this price compares, we made a calculation of adding up all the components that are there. I was very, very conservative on some of the things we have included, like mentor costs, like, I don't know, the cost of self-assessment I assigned as 0. All this, I've been very conservative, and that adding all the things that we give you as part of the program, the cost alone is $18,000. We have worked with Cisco to make the price more attractive, that they have tightened their belts. We have tightened their belts. Everybody has made the best possible case here to give you a price of $16,000 instead of $18,000 or more, which would have been the cost of all the components adding up together. So I'm telling you this, I'm being very kind of open and candid here about the price, because I want you to understand that the price here is actually a really, really good price. Remember that you have 2 attempts of the CCIE lab included in this price as well, which that alone is $3,200 to take the exam twice. Okay. Then regarding dates, we have enterprise infrastructure, which was the first one that we got started. We have an estimated date of start of, it's going to be, I think it's going to be the 15th of May that we will be launching the first cohort if we gather enough registrations. After that, the next one will probably be September, because I doubt anybody will want to start the program in August, in the middle of summer. So we'll wait for September, and then the next one will be every 3 to 4 months for enterprise infrastructure, that we will be launching another cohort. So for the person that asked me about specific dates, let us know that you're interested. Let us know when do you think you want to get started with the program. Remember that if you start in September, around July, August, maybe in September of the next year, you will be sitting your CCIE lab. So take into consideration that year means also in 1 year you will be taking your exam, right? So whenever you join us, so if you join us in September, August, probably maybe September, you will be scheduling your CCIE lab exam next year. And then for security data center service provider, we will be probably starting cohorts as well in September. And I expect that for this ones, the demand will give us only a twice a year start date. So if we start in September, then 6 months later, we'll have the next one. But this is part of this will be gauged based on the amount of people that we have interested in the program. So if we need more, we will run more. Hopefully that answered all the questions regarding pricing and dates that I got in the chat. One more slide regarding pricing comparison. The estimates that we found online of how much people need to pay to pass their CCIE. is about $20,000, right? This is not cost based on our program, but what we find online. People have to pay for their exams, sometimes 3-4 times. And if you're taking the exam multiple times, that also means multiple travel, multiple hotel, multiple everything, right? Which makes the program a lot more costly. If you go and pass it on the first time, that those costs are only once. There are several costs here. This is an example for enterprise infrastructure, but maybe what I will highlight is that the risk of procrastination is quite high. If you're studying in your own, you may delay, you may take a lot longer than you should or that you could, because you're studying at your own pace. You may lose motivation. You may even give up. You may decide that no, CCIE is not for you. And maybe that is the truth, because you may want to do something else with your life, but we don't want you to be discouraged because you just cannot make the progress with the training. If that is the thing that is hindering you, we can help you with this. Now, a global rate of success rate on the first attempt for CCIE, it's very, very low. People estimated between 6 and 10%. So about 8% of people pass their exam on the first try, whether with our program so far with the people that have completed, 40% of people pass their CCIE on the first try. Let me repeat that. 40% of people pass their CCIE on the first try. Actually, it's a little bit higher, but 40% is the conservative number. So that's a really, really high success rate for the first try of taking the CCIE lab. And with the simulated lab that we've included in the program now, I think that that rate will actually go higher. There will be more people passing. If you want to learn more, go to this URL. This is the page of NIL Learning for Project 525 or Google Project 525. You'll probably get our link and the South African link. So there are 2 pages there. If you're in Europe, contact us directly. So please make a note. As I said, you're going to receive this slides and you can keep that. And here is my email address, edirocco@nil.com. If you're interested on CCNP or if you're interested on any other thing that I didn't cover during this session, I'm mindful that we have only 1 minute left. Please feel free to contact me directly. I will direct you to whoever in my team needs to help you if it's not me. And thank you very much for listening to us. I will check now if there are any other questions. Thank you. Thank you. My helper has put my email address on the chat and the URL on the chat as well. So please copy those details from there. I have covered cost, Cisco U. I've covered the dates as well. Okay, I think I'll cover all the answers, all the questions as well. So I will say thank you very much for everybody that listened to me prattle on for about an hour. Have an awesome rest of the day and do contact us if you're interested in passing your CCIE or CCNP with us. Thank you very much, everybody.